Right now, 20% of the world's total oil supply flows through a single, narrow waterway, the Strait of Hormuz. If the Iranian military were to successfully blockade this choke point, the resulting shockwave would instantly cripple the global economy. Reopening the strait is a massive military priority, but the United States has virtually zero appetite for a prolonged ground war. Invading and occupying a mountainous nation of nearly 90 million people would require hundreds of thousands of troops and immense financial cost. To force compliance without an invasion, the Pentagon relies on a vastly different strategy. By systematically dismantling Iran's domestic energy grid, they can completely blind the regime's military command and shut down their industrial capacity from the sky. The primary targets for this operation are the absolute largest power generation hubs in the country. At the top of the list is the Damavand combined cycle power plant near Tehran, a massive 193-hectare complex producing 2,900 megawatts, followed closely by a string of heavy thermal facilities in the north. Reaching those targets presents a severe logistical hurdle. Because these megaplants sit deep inland, far from the coast, standard naval strike fighters lack the range and payload capacity to finish the job. The operation requires specialized, long-range heavy bombers flying out of regional Mediterranean bases like Cyprus. By orchestrating a deliberate nationwide blackout, the military can paralyze a sophisticated adversary and neutralize a major global threat, entirely without deploying a single soldier onto foreign soil. The operation executes in 3 distinct, highly synchronized stages. Phase 1 is the blindfolding stage. Before any heavy bombers even approach Iranian airspace, the early warning radar arrays have to be entirely dismantled. The opening salvo belongs to the Navy. Warships launching from the Arabian Sea fire waves of Tomahawk cruise missiles. These weapons are programmed to skim dangerously close to the Earth, weaving through the valleys of the Zagros Mountains to stay entirely underneath the enemy's radar horizon. Simultaneously, squadrons of F-35 Lightning stealth fighters cross into the contested airspace. Utilizing advanced sensor fusion, these jets map out the electronic environment while slipping completely undetected through the enemy's net. The F-35s are actively hunting the heaviest surface-to-air threats on the board. Firing AGM-88 anti-radiation missiles from safe standoff ranges, they lock on to the radar emissions of specialized domestic Bavar 373 batteries and high-end S-300 systems, destroying them before they can even return fire. With the primary surface-to-air missile batteries suppressed, the air corridor is temporarily sanitized. That triggers Phase 2, the penetration stage, where the heavy hitters finally make their approach. Leading the charge is the B-2 stealth bomber. While famous for its nuclear capabilities, in this scenario, the B-2 carries a strictly conventional heavy payload of precision-guided JDAMs. These are engineered specifically for the surgical destruction of hardened industrial sites. Ripping apart the air defense network from the inside out guarantees the airspace is completely clear. Without that initial suppression, the vulnerable, heavy payload bombing runs required to kill the power grid would be completely impossible. Phase 3 is the strike itself. The goal here is efficiency. The military doesn't waste ordnance leveling a 193-hectare compound to dust. Instead, they induce catastrophic mechanical failure by destroying a handful of custom, incredibly hard-to-replace components. Above the Damavand plant, the B-2s drop 2,000-pound smart bombs threaded perfectly through the roofs of the main turbine halls. The massive explosions instantly shatter the custom generator shafts and obliterate the step-up transformers parked outside. Further north, the B-1B Lancer enters the fray. Flying low and fast over the Alborz mountain range, the supersonic bomber sweeps over the Caspian Sea coast, rapidly unloading a devastating string of munitions directly into the thermal generation infrastructure of the Shahid Salimi plant. Finally, operating from safe high-altitude ranges, the B-52 Stratofortress acts as a flying missile truck. Loitering above the sanitized airspace, it drops a sustained heavy payload to systematically flatten the remaining boiler houses and massive cooling towers. This chart visualizes the physics of a grid collapse. As crown jewel facilities like Damavand and Shahid Salimi are violently taken offline at the exact same time, the national network experiences a massive, immediate drop in electrical grid frequency. That sharp drop forces power stations across the country to instantly trip automated safety systems. The result is a cascading failure ripping through the entire transmission network. In a matter of minutes, multiple military command centers, radar arrays, and heavy industrial manufacturing bases are plunged into total darkness. The infrastructure required to fight a war is completely disabled, and the U.S. achieves its objective without a single ground invasion force. Executing a strike of this magnitude requires strict rules of engagement. Planners have to surgically separate military-industrial targets from vital civilian infrastructure to avoid triggering a massive humanitarian disaster. For example, the massive hydroelectric dams in the Khuzestan province generate huge amounts of electrical power, but they are intentionally crossed off the target list. Breaching those structures would unleash catastrophic downstream flooding into heavily populated civilian areas. Planners also place an absolute strike prohibition on the Bushehr nuclear power plant on the Persian Gulf coast. Hitting an operational civilian nuclear reactor carries the extreme risk of deadly radiation fallout and would invite immediate, severe international condemnation. By week 4 of the operation, the heavy strategic bombing runs cease entirely. The major infrastructure is already broken. Now the objective transitions into a permanent holding pattern, maintaining full air superiority. Aggressive continuous hunting patrols take over the skies. F-22 Raptors and F-15 fighter jets are kept constantly aloft by aerial refueling tankers. They operate using live targeting data beamed directly from specialized E-2D Hawkeye command planes scanning the airspace below. MQ-9 Reaper drones join the hunt, patrolling the skies 24/7. Their programming is incredibly specific. The absolute second the enemy attempts to roll a mobile ballistic missile launcher out of a hidden subterranean bunker, the drones wipe it out with Hellfire missiles before it can fire. This sustained, high-altitude control over the battle space represents the ultimate modern deterrent. By leveraging precision stealth technology to induce a calculated infrastructural collapse, the military neutralizes a nation's capacity to wage war and keeps critical global shipping lanes open without ever fighting on the ground.